So I decided to touch on Jawan, and Jawan kind of touches on like the Indian healthcare system, though it's not a primary focus. The movie directed by Atlee and starring Shah Rukh Khan tackles several social and political issues. And one of the key plot points involves corruption in the healthcare sector, and it highlights how negligence, greed, and systemic corruption can lead to tragic consequences for ordinary citizens who rely on public health services. I don't want to spoil much of this film, but it is definitely something to watch. There's a significant subplot involving the failure of the healthcare system due to faulty medical equipment, which is in the middle of the film, and kind of like how powerful corporations exploit the system for profit, with showing healthcare administrators. This part of the film like critiques the lack of accountability and the dire consequences it can have on people's lives. Some kind of health issues that are portrayed in Jawan, for example, is like the corruption in healthcare procurement, where they highlight the supply of faulty medical equipment, so specifically oxygen cylinders, and corrupt dealings between corruptions and government officials. And this is Jawan on the right, by the way. Um, there's also negligence and corporate greed, and where there's been showing of corporate cost cutting and government indifference that has led to massive loss of life, particularly among vulnerable populations such as children hospitals, which you'll see in the background over here on the left. This is one of the hospital scenes. Now, how this kind of relates to like the Indian healthcare model or the out-of-pocket model is that they highlight the public health challenges where like public hospitals suffer from like underfunding, shortages of equipment, and overcrowding, as you can also see in here, the crowding, corruption as well. They also show like private healthcare dominance and that many Indians rely on private hospitals like this one, which are expensive and often inaccessible to poor citizens. And there's also showings of like regulatory weakness where like there's this enforcement of quality standards that can be weak, and companies producing faulty equipment or medicine are sometimes protected by political connections, which is definitely a huge thing in this film. The situation shown in Jawan like kind of dramatizes these real world issues, but it highlights the failure in the system that can have devastating human cost.